The StreamYard's
And
working out good
we're
for you.
live. So I went to Tracy's today and um, had a good little talk with him. And I picked up just a few things I was going to be doing. I want to do a new PSA order. So I picked up a couple cards and let me know what you think.
Okay.
Because I want to get them graded. So I picked up these cards to get graded, and I can handle the truth. So I thought these would be good cards I have no attachment to. They look to be in really good shape. I got them out of the quarter box. So I was like, and I went online and kind of looked them up a little bit on eBay, but I wasn't trying to spend all day looking them up. So I picked up, and if they grade at a 9 or a 10, obviously they're going to be pretty good. I picked up a couple Randy Johnsons.
All right.
Rookie cards. Hey, what up, Chris? All the way from South Korea.
Hey, there he is. I was just chatting with him.
Yeah. So I
Uh,
got a couple big units in my hand. Then I picked up this
94
Ivan
finest.
Rodriguez. So I got this one from Topps Finest. I don't know what year this is. 90 what 3 4.
90, 94. Yep.
Yeah. Then I got picked up a Fred McGriff.
Okay. The
Uh,
rookies.
the rookies.
Nice.
And then I picked up a Fleer, his update Fleer.
Nice. That
And then I
looks
picked up his Topps traded.
okay.
So I picked
Have
them
you
all up.
looked them over?
Yeah, I looked them over. I mean, I looked them over. I mean, I got them for a quarter. So all those are
Yeah.
going to be like $12 to grade. So I feel like if I get 13, I'm okay.
Wait a minute.
So
$12 to grade? What do you mean?
yeah, well, they're $12 to grade now per grade.
Oh, per card, right?
Right.
Oh, okay, okay. And then if you're
So it's
moving them after the fact, yeah, but so I wouldn't. If you get an 8 or a 7 on some of them, it's not. I wouldn't. It's probably not. So I saw, like, I know one of the Johnsons looked like it was pretty bad off centered, but
um,
I don't think you. Does it look like it
oh
was
yeah, I
like
can see what
70
you're
30?
saying. Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah. So like I wouldn't send that for sure.
That I'm
I
gonna
mean, I
send
don't
this one. I'm
know.
gonna send it to you.
If you're into what is it, the qualifiers, which is like, hey, this card's a 9 OC, which means it's really not a 9. It's like a
Right.
7 or
Now I'm gonna go balls out with no qualifiers and just take the 6.
something. I got a
What
6
up?
once on a card that I sent in. I completely missed a full crease on the back. I can't see the comments, so if anybody's
Oh,
yelling
so
for
we
me,
got we got
maybe I should pull
so
my
we have
laptop up or something.
so I'll go through real quick and highlight the comments. We got Chris in here.
Nice.
We got
What's up, Chris?
Donnie's in here. What's up?
Donnie.
We got Joel.
Hey,
What's going
Joe.
on? Yeah, they will. You're right. Anybody. We got I don't know how W Vogs
WVogs 18.
18. And
He's
then
popping up.
we got Donnie, yeah. Is that considered a rainbow? Probably. Then we got Joe in here, Doctor Exclusive. Yo, 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 what's
Yo,
up?
yo.
So that's gonna be my very first order I send in once I get to my get back the original order. Is I'm gonna send that off centered one, and I'm gonna try to get. I'm gonna put on there if I don't get a 10 that I'm coming to PSA and gonna do some damage.
I mean, that could
I'll be
work.
like this. I'm like, man, this surface is cherry. They're so crispy. That's what we're focused on is the surface, not that it's
There's
off
one of
center.
your Cincinnati Reds right there.
Oh, got Dion with his dude rag on. It looks like. Where have you seen that? Is it a like an upper deck card he did where he like is running and it's like he goes from football to baseball and in like the four like snapshots. Have you seen that card where he's like running and
That
then
that
it's
that rings a bell. It probably
transitions?
Probably is upper deck. I don't I don't think I've come across that in all my like recent sorting, which is gonna tell me I don't think I got it. Can't
Yeah,
remember
you need
if it
to
would have
add
been
that
like
one to your
91,
collection.
maybe 91 upper deck football, which would make sense because that's not something I have a lot of.
No, you probably don't. That's a weakness in your collection. Oh,
Right.
there's the goat,
Yeah, right.
future Hall of Famer.
I should pull out
So,
some of that I should go ahead.
do you think Schilling's getting in this year? What's your
Who?
thoughts?
Schilling?
Kurt
No,
Schilling.
no, I don't think so. I think that it'll make those guys wait as long as
That's
possible. I don't know.
that's a hot take. I like it. Hot take with Bob Lewis.
Yeah, right.
Oh, there
That's
we go. We got B. Larkin, baby. You
presence.
know, out of all the players from back in the day, Barry Larkin, to my knowledge, does not have a nickname.
Yeah, right there.
Oh,
Presence.
presence. There you go. Oh, more Barry Presence Larkin. What's up? Oh gosh. So tomorrow is Turkey Day. So happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, man. Happy Thanksgiving.
And happy Thanksgiving, everybody watching. If you're not watching, then screw you. If you're watching this later, you should have been watching, or else I would have wished you a personal Thanksgiving with a blessing. So I might have asked you this in the past, but I know I've never asked you this live and in color. There in Pittsburgh, is there
Yeah.
any traditional Thanksgiving dishes or foods that you might not see in other parts of the United States?
Nah.
Nothing.
No, not nothing, man. Um
Is there
we do
anything in the
like
Lewis family that's maybe
we
not
do
so you
dry
see somewhere
stuffing
else?
and we do wet stuffing and dry stuffing. Like we make a separate stuffing in a pan and but we also have like stuffing from the bird. So if anything that could be it. But it's all in like how you do your potatoes. Um they were doing a top 5 potatoes for on the radio today, like so between rank sweet potatoes, baked potatoes, roasted potatoes, mashed potatoes, and potatoes au gratin.
You're doing all those.
No, that's what they were saying. Like rank those in your
Oh,
order of like from
oh,
1 to 5 between sweet potato, which sweet potato would be my number 5. I'm not. I know they're good, but like I haven't. It's not my go-to. And
right.
then it would probably be the cheesy potatoes 4. Um, roasted potato 3, baked potato 2, and mashed potatoes 1.
What
That's
about potatoes au gratin? You said.
cheesy potatoes like 4.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
even
So your
though
baked potatoes number one.
2. Mashed potatoes number 1 for me.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Mashed potatoes definitely number one for me. I mean, I didn't get this sexy without eating my potatoes. I'm from Ireland for
That's
crying out loud, or my family
right.
is. Yeah, that's a good one. So mashed potatoes for sure is number one. Number two would be cheesy potatoes. Number three would be roasted potatoes. Number four would be the sweet potatoes. Number five would be potato. What was
Like the cheesy
baked
potato.
potatoes? Cheesy potatoes. No, number. Well, see, I think of cheesy potatoes in a different way than you. But let's say if you're using your idea, like it's potatoes or gratin, there would be five, and sweet potatoes would be number four. So,
All right.
what about deviled eggs? Do you all do deviled eggs?
They pop up now and again for sure.
Now, I have a trick to my deviled eggs. Let me see if you're on board with this. Most people do it with just your typical run of the mill, just yellow mustard, right?
Yeah.
But in the Payne household, I like to doctor it up a bit, and they do like paprika. But I like to put in chili flakes, and I use spicy mustard.
I mean that's
Do you think you would be on board with that, or is your sensitive palate, delicate palate, could not handle that additional heat? Maybe.
whoa. So I am of Norwegian descent, and the spices don't always line up with my insides. So
Right.
it just depends. I would try it. I would try it. I like the red powder on my deviled eggs, but it's pretty
Yeah.
standard. And then back to the mashed potatoes bit. My aunt makes them, so it's lots of butter for one. But then
That's
they
the way it
they
is.
they use evaporated milk for their cream just to make it even more like it's more fattening and more creamy.
Of course. Yeah. What about corn pudding? Do you know about corn pudding? Gary asked.
I don't know corn pudding. Do you know corn pudding?
If I think I know what he's talking about, it's like
Yeah, just cream corn. That's not cream
it's
corn,
yeah.
is it?
I kind of like thinking it's like a breaded cream corn, and it's like and it cooked in a pan, and it has like a sweet, like a real sweet taste to it. That's how I think of it is. That's how I think. And I don't know if that's right, but if that's what he's talking about in a similar fashion, then yes, I know what that is.
Did you do the cranberry like shaped like like the can, just like
You know,
plop?
well, my mom, my mom and my grant was back in the day. I'm sure for like a lot of us, um, you know, if you had your grandparents were still alive and they were healthy enough, they would be like the ones who do Thanksgiving or any big get-togethers. They might go to their
Yeah,
house,
sure.
generally speaking. So my grandmother, my dad's side, they're all Irish Catholics. So they always looking for a reason to get together. And everybody was home cooking. And they did like my grandmother did this like traditional cranberry sauce that she made that was like legit
Yeah.
fire. And I don't like cranberry sauce, so that says a lot about her ability to make it. And then my aunts and my all the women in the family who the brothers wives would make something, and it was like a full on like huge feast, like what you would see
Okay.
think of a traditional Thanksgiving meal.
Sure.
And then my grandmother, my mom's side, it was a much smaller family, and she would do all the cooking too. My mom would help out, but it was a much smaller scale. Then when they all passed away, it was my mom. She didn't do much at all. I mean, she did as much as she could, but she's never been like a big, throw down the gauntlet cooking kind of person.
Yeah.
Uh, it was a lot more like you said, like the traditional cranberry coming out of the can and then sliced, like
Yeah.
like six slices, and you just take one little slice and put it on your plate or whatever.
Exactly.
What about you? What about the cranberry sauce in your life?
So yeah, I was if it's I'm more on the sweeter side of things than the tart side of things. So
Mm-hmm.
it would have to be inside like a um I don't know, what are those like tart uh it's almost like a layered cookie cake type of thing. I
Yeah.
can't remember, but it would have like graham cracker crust and then like a layer like tart and it would be good. So that usually came from outside my house. Um, we were we didn't really contribute much. It was usually we were going and just helping
You
set up
contribute eating.
and do dishes and stuff. Yeah, we did like the other stuff.
You did all the manual labor after the feast.
Right.
So,
Bring
so
a
talking
loaf
about
of bread.
cranberry sauce, it's a very polarizing dish during Thanksgiving. Is there a traditional Thanksgiving food or dish, not cranberry sauce, that you could do without, like that guy's shirt?
Yes. I think we've eliminated pretty much all the stuff um, that I don't like. Them sometimes they do a it's like a cauliflower salad thing that sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't. Like baked cheese cauliflower deal.
Okay,
Uh,
I'll send you the link, Joe, here in a second. Just to answer your
uh,
question, but yeah.
we make it like this. My mom makes this like Dutch lettuce. It's like come you eat it before the meal. There you go, nice. 6 feet jag off, nice. And it's the unhealthiest salad going. It's like literally droopy wilted lettuce because it's been like mixed amongst bacon grease and stuff. So, and it's
Right.
got bacon bits in it and vinegar and stuff. So, or it's pretty solid.
You
Doesn't
know,
sound very good, but
for me, anything that involve like, and I'm anything that involves like a cold type of like a salad, like your a traditional just like salad or like a macaroni salad or whatever. I feel like
yeah,
that's like the filler stuff. I want the good
yeah,
stuff. Like I want the hot, warm, cooked food, not the thing that somebody just pulled it out of a Kroger, little bucket and then just dumped it in a bowl and said, "Here you go." And
right.
it's like some macaroni salad. Now, if it's homemade, it's maybe okay, but I do like German potato salad. I will say that, so I'll take that. But
Yeah,
but
tomorrow it's gonna be
okay,
pretty standard. And then dinner or dessert will be some pies. Do like a pecan pie, cherry pie, pumpkin pie,
nice. Now, are those
and
homemade or those bought somewhere?
ours is bought.
Okay.
We're bringing the cherry pie. Yeah, they'll probably be bought. I mean, just at the local bakery or something.
Oh, so
Um,
it's local bakery at least. It's not like you went to Walmart and picked it up.
no, right. It'll be. It's
Okay,
like
good.
it's at least a little bit of an effort to bring some quality to the.
Right. Well,
You
because
know.
here in Indiana, there's a very famous pie place called Wix Pies,
Oh
and
yeah.
in Indiana, there's a local Indiana sugar cream pie that's started here in Indiana. It's an Indiana. I don't want to say exclusive because it may be in other places,
Yeah.
but it was like a homemade thing here, and it is literally so good. And
Mm.
they do a coconut cream pie, and it's so
Oh,
good.
okay.
And so I bought both of those, and I don't know what Luca's mom's gonna do as far as like that because she makes everything from scratch. Except sometimes she makes desserts, but this time of the year because we always support Luca's baseball, we buy this
Uh-huh.
local pie company from this local pie company,
Do
so
you
we use
like your
those.
do you like your cream pies more like whipped or like a little thicker, like a forkful, like
Yeah, I want it to be like kind of firm, like a forkful, right? I don't want it kind of oozing off my fork. So
right.
personally, like the Boston cream pies and stuff like that, like they have the
Yeah,
whipped cream on top. I like the whipped cream on top. Obviously, that's
sure.
going to be more loose, but the pie itself, I want it to be firm. I don't need it to be like um, cardboard, like it's graham
Yeah,
cracker
but
crust or something
you don't
hard.
want to eat
But
you don't want to eat pudding pie.
right,
It should
right, yeah.
right.
I don't want to be like a Bill Cosby. It's pudding
Pudding pie.
pops. What about pudding pop?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
sold a Ghost Dad. Remember the movie Ghost Dad with Bill Cosby?
Mark.
I I bought that at an eBay. I bought not
Oh
eBay.
yeah,
I bought
Ghost
that at a
Dad.
flea market and sold it on eBay for like $20.
Really?
Yeah, I got it for like $1 at a Goodwill or a flea market or something. And then after the person purchased it, they go, "Oh, I don't want it." And I was like, "Oh no, you're gonna take it. I'm gonna get my money." And they actually end up eating it and then bought it, and they didn't send it back.
Really?
Yeah, I just told them, kind of like I was telling you beforehand about
You
telling
just
me
muscled
the
them.
celebrities, you're gonna do this interview, and you're gonna like it. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna like it." Okay, so
All right. Gotta respect that.
yeah. So now a traditional Bob Lewis Thanksgiving with the family. Is there any
Yeah.
traditions that you've either had growing up or that you have now with your family that you like to try to do, either leading up to Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving Day, the weekend after? Like, is there anything that you look forward to doing or know is like it's some nostalgia connected to it?
So yeah, there is none of the things that I did as a kid have still carried over to today, just mainly because that generation has moved on. Uh, it's, we go to my parents' house. The next year we go to Chris's house, Chris's parents' house, which they both live within 10 minutes of me. My mother-in-law is literally a stone's throw on a good day. If I was really warmed up, I might be able to hit it.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
like kind of like Clinton Kershaw, like this.
right. Or like that, like Napoleon Dynamite's uncle in that movie, you know, like that guy.
Right.
And then my parents are 10 minutes this way, so and then I haven't traveled. I was thinking about this today. I haven't traveled more than like an hour and a half on a major holiday for probably 20 years.
That's awesome.
So yeah, because it's been up here, um, which is kind of cool.
Now, do you have family back in West Virginia that you do see during the holidays at all?
Nope, nope. We're all up here, which it was only just us, anyways. No,
Right.
my mom's side, I got family in Buffalo, New York, and then out in Connecticut, but we don't travel out there all that much,
I see.
if ever. I haven't been out there for a long time.
So, i- is there anything as far as like? I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you a little peek behind the curtain for me. My dad, my dad and my sister have always done the tradition of Black Friday shopping.
Yeah.
And I never understood that of like the idea of waiting in line. And as anywhere else, it could be raining, could be snowing, it could be 20 degrees outside, whatever.
Right.
As a fun thing to do, as a tradition of Thanksgiving, while you're freezing your biscuits off, that would be somehow fun to kind of end Thanksgiving, and the possibility of getting yourself a toaster for, instead of $10, $7.95
No,
or
I hear
whatever
you,
the case
man.
may be. Now, have you ever done Black Friday shopping? And after have you done it, have you ever regretted it, or did you go, well, this is very fun and exhilarating?
I've never done it, man. I mean, I've gone out that day shopping, but not for the mad early morning rush. Uh,
Right.
if we were traveling as a kid growing up, and we were in Connecticut or even down in Florida where my grandparents were at the time, we would typically go to the movies. We'd go
Okay.
see whatever, because typically it's a big release or some kind of blockbuster or like holiday, whatever. I think like I saw Phantom Menace was over Thanksgiving holiday weekend once, '99, right? And then I think My
That
Big
sounds
Fat
right.
Greek Wedding. I had to go see that.
Opa.
Now, right?
Opa.
Put some Windex on it. Uh,
Right.
so, and then we will put up our Christmas decorations over the weekend sometime. That's a tradition that we've started. To wait till after Thanksgiving and then do it that next weekend. So we don't want to rush it, but we also want to maximize it at the same time. So we feel we can justify putting it up Friday or Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Well, I can tell you, for me, I can tell between pre and post child Jason being like a father. I went
Yeah.
one time when I was in my early 20s with a couple of friends of ours, um, to do a Black Friday shopping. I remember waiting in front of a Blockbuster, no, I'm sorry, a Best Buy, and
Okay.
I thought it was actually kind of fun. I was like, hey, it's actually kind of cool. Everybody's kind of hanging out. We're all waiting to get in, and then I didn't have to do anything. My friends were the ones driving, so I just kind of was just, it was like driving Miss Daisy. I'm just sitting in the back and just enjoying the ride. And I thought that was okay. The madness was maddening for sure, but I felt like it was manageable. And then fast
Okay.
forward like 8 years later, I was like in my early 30s. Now I'm a dad, and my sister wanted to go, and she asked me to go. And then my mom and dad were watching Luca or whatever, so I said, sure, I'll go with you. And I wanted to murder everyone I came in contact with because I was already over it. Um, so I have never since then, not since I was, now I'm going to be 42 next month. So not in at least over a decade have I ever tried to attempt that again, because I knew I became an old man really fast,
Yeah.
those few year difference. and I know that I'll end up getting killed or killing somebody. So I just was like, I'm gonna pass on this moving forward. So
Yeah,
that's
we've
good.
embraced the online shopping. We've embraced the
Yes.
Cyber Monday.
Right, right. And I think a decade ago that wasn't even really a thing, and definitely 20 years ago it wasn't a thing. But
No,
like
right.
over the years, that's becoming such a huge thing, especially I bet this year with the whole hashtag Rona. A lot of
Do you
people are
think?
not going to be. A lot of people will be
Yeah, I don't.
shopping from home.
Yeah, why would you go out? I mean, I don't know. Uh, unless you absolutely needed to. Well, I don't need a big screen. Like I could see doing it for like that, one sweet item that they have those monster deals on or something. But I don't need that.
No. So I got a story I know I've never shared with anybody before. So when I first was married, I had
Exclusive.
exclusive. When I first was married, the house I bought with my now ex-wife, we bought a house and our house payment went up by $400 because the previous year they didn't tell us they didn't pay taxes on the house. Like
Nice.
and so when it went from like $600 a month to $1,000 a month. So both of us working couldn't afford a newly married couple couldn't afford $1,000 house payment. So I started working at Walmart in the evenings to supplement the income to pay for that year for them not taking county taxes out on the house or whatever it was to make up that difference. So I ended up having to work on a Black Friday. And I'll
Ugh.
never forget, if you want to see like literally the dredge of society, like the worst of the worst, like you be a teller, a cashier at a big box store on Thanksgiving or the Black Friday, and you will know like what hell looks like. You'll get a good like snapshot of it.
What it feels
And
like in the
the
apocalypse.
one story I can share, I will not even kid you. This probably at his time was like in his mid 30s. He was telling me he didn't even in his mind he didn't even think about it being Black Friday. He was like in there to get some like aftershave and like some razors or something. It was like not even trying to like buy a flat screen TV or whatever.
Right.
He just happened to be caught up in it. So he's like in line. He only has like a few items. So he's like, I'm ringing up and we're talking. And during the conversation, he's saying that he's like ex-military guy. He's like, I used to be a Marine or Army guy, and then said he was a veteran. He was in Iraq or Afghanistan, and he was talking a lot about that. We're having this conversation. I am not even kidding you. The conversation lasted the whole amount of time of me just ringing him up, getting his stuff. This woman behind him is like, no one cares about you being in the military. Can you shut up and let's go? I got places to shop. I got other places to go. I was like, I had to work, so I couldn't say anything. So you can only imagine with my mouth, like
Oh my goodness.
I had to bite my tongue. But you better believe I gave her the like most devilish, like evil eye I could. I wouldn't even say a word to her. I was like throwing her stuff in a bag like as hard as I could. And then like I just like threw her receipt at her. I was like almost wanted her to be so furious that I slowed her down that she wanted to talk to my boss. But I mean, like this guy's over here talking about how he fought for our country and was injured during the fighting,
Yeah,
and you were too busy about getting your
that's
extra
bad, man.
large bottle of perfume, Estee Lauder perfume or whatever you're trying to get. That you don't have no time for an extra minute for this guy to tell me his little story. I was like never so pissed off in my life. So, anyways, yeah. So,
I could see you turning a couple shades right there.
oh yeah, yeah. It's hard for me with my lily white Irish skin not to hide my being angry because the redness just keeps going up, up, up. It's like the Scoville test when you're eating different kinds of hot peppers. Like
Right.
you go from like white to kind of like pink to like a red, like red, then almost like magenta. So we're
Rose.
like,
Yeah.
right. It's pretty bad news. Oh, we got Stuff Investor in here. We got Jason, Cubs fan. So yeah, we got Donnie's in here, like I said. Uh, Falpsy. I want to say is his name Nick? Is that right? Do you remember if it's Nick? Do you know Falsey, the Falsey. I
I
want to
haven't
say it's
met False
Nick.
yet.
I might be making that up, dude. I'm sorry. Andrew, maybe it's Andrew Falsey. I can't remember. Nicholas. I can't remember, dude. I know you just said this like a couple days ago, but like as I established, I'm an old man and
He
my memory
forgives
ain't
you,
like what
man.
it used to be.
He forgives you. I know he's that kind of guy.
Yeah. So we've talked a little bit about Thanksgiving and the traditions or their lack of food and
Now, will you
of
see?
cheer.
We see. Is it just gonna be you and the boy, or
So the way it works, hey, what's up, Ray? I collect Ichiro's here. So
Big Ray?
um so here is the situation. As probably most people know, I am divorced, but my ex-wife and I get along famously together. Most people still think we're married. We get along so well.
All right.
And obviously that's for my son's benefit. It works out really well for him because he
Yeah.
doesn't have to worry about being stuck in the middle between two angry, vindictive parents, right?
Yep.
So every year, for as long as I can remember, we do Thanksgiving together. So
Good.
she makes, and the crazy thing is that she makes Thanksgiving dinner or lunch from scratch. Like woman who grew up, raised her whole life in Japan,
Wow.
she makes a full on Thanksgiving, traditional American Thanksgiving dinner. Now she likes to Japanese it up a bit sometimes, and like
Okay.
throw some extra stuff into it, or she likes to try different flavors and stuff. She's kind of like
Yeah.
the Bobby Flay of Japan, let's say. You know,
Okay.
she might do and all that, but she likes to mix it up a bit. So sometimes we'll do turkey, sometimes we'll do like Cornish hens. We'll also do like ham sometimes. So we do lots of we like Brussels sprouts is a thing we do a lot. You might not
Ooh.
see a
All
lot
right.
on a traditional Thanksgiving meal in a lot of places. Um, but yeah, so she'll mix it up, but I mean she usually goes pretty serious. But I don't know if you've ever said this before, and I don't know much about your situation, but maybe you know a situation like this without saying names to protect their identity.
Yeah.
But have you ever been in a situation where you've had, like, let's say, grandma's dish that's been like the traditional grandma dish, whatever it is, fill in the blank, like say it's meatloaf or mashed
Yeah.
potatoes or a mac and cheese, right? A homemade mac and cheese. But then your wife or somebody else takes the recipe and they put their spin on it. And then you're like, where's this been my entire life? How can this be even better or even taste
Hmm.
more fire? And that my family had given my ex-wife all these traditional recipes we've used in our family for years. And
Okay.
then she has had the ability to take those recipes and then
And
like
make them
turn them
better.
on their heads and make them better. But I never had the balls to
Hmm.
tell that to my family that actually my Japanese ex-wife, who has no palate for growing up in American traditional food, actually has taken our recipes and made them better.
Yeah.
So have you ever had that situation where you've had grandma's traditional mashed potatoes, but somebody's come along and kicked those right in the nards, and you're like, wow? Or has that's maybe that never happened?
It hasn't. So I mean, I don't know
That's
if
good, I
I've.
guess.
So I mean, it can be a touchy subject sometimes,
Sure.
because
I hope
so
my mom's not watching right now.
right. No, but we don't. Chris didn't grow up getting like, learning how to cook. You know what I mean? Like her
Sure.
mom was a single mom, like worked two jobs, like work eating frozen dinners and stuff was just part of like so.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's the reality of it. And I didn't learn how to cook either because everybody always cooked for me. So, so I'm not real picky eater though, but I do
Right.
but my mom has a certain way that she makes her sloppy joes. Um, but I'll eat manwich, I'll eat manwich, but if I'm gonna have a choice, I would probably take mom's, right?
Yeah, sure.
Uh, but yeah, there's certain desserts. Desserts are a little easier to create because I mean you got a layer of Oreo, you got a layer of ice cream and a layer of hot fudge. You can't really mess that up, but
Right.
uh,
You hope
so
not.
you hope not. Exactly. Um, I would say more breakfast stuff and more desserts have gotten passed down. Jamar, what's up, buddy?
No, Jamar, thanks for
For our
popping in, dude.
family.
I think this might be my first time seeing you here, man. I appreciate you joining.
Yeah, Jamar's a good dude, man. Big
Yeah, I've
time
seen him around. I never had
Michael
the
Jordan
pleasure, I should
collector.
say.
Yeah, out there in
So
the town.
desserts for you had so growing up for you, desserts were a little bit more uh of a thing, I guess, like a little more
Yeah, cause
traditional, like
yeah, so
homemade.
there's special K bars, which are like a semi-sweet chocolate and a butterscotch chips, like mixed together, and then like cornflake and caramel, peanut cornflakes and peanut butter like base with that on top, and that's a special K bar. I said cornflakes, but it's special K cereal, a special K bar, right?
Right.
And then
In Indiana,
go ahead.
special case something else.
Right, right. Like pretzel salad, you know what pretzel salad is.
Right.
Uh,
Pepperoni rolls, come on, dude.
Pepperoni rolls, yeah. uh, what's up,
That's a West
W
Virginia thing. I
Boggs
never even heard of that
18?
time there.
He represents the West Virginia OGs, I think.
So okay, so you have some traditional. It sounds like homemade style of desserts. What
Yeah.
is what is
Oh,
your
the other one is pistachio surprise, which is
oh pistachio
yeah,
surprise?
it's like a walnut base with like a creamy cheese, like a cream cheese center, and then like a pistachio pudding layer on top, like a whipped version of it. That's a good
Huh.
one.
I never heard of that. I'm gonna have to have your mom make that next time I come
Yeah,
in.
that's an Aunt Cookie one.
Oh, okay.
That's Aunt Cookie. My mom's a special K bars.
Yeah. I know your mom made me those pepperoni rolls, so that was so good. Oh my gosh. It
Yeah,
was worth
those
the
are.
trip.
Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, so they do things right, and I'm I just take advantage of it as much as possible.
Sure. So
WB.
what we have here? BF Golf's here also.
There's a good man.
Yeah, there he is. Man, okay.
Oh, this sounds like a joke about to come up. You know how we know? Read it like it's a joke.
So you know how we know the toothbrush was invented in West Virginia. I messed that up. Sorry. You set it up as a joke, and then I got all flustered.
You know
You
how
know
we
how
know
you
that the
know
toothbrush
that the
was invented
toothbrush
in
was
West
invented in
Virginia?
West Virginia. It's like we got stereo going.
Yeah. So we're just now waiting around for the punchline.
Yeah, we're waiting.
You better deliver.
Oh, Jamar, the pressure's on. Bob
Make a
Hall of
video.
Fame Lewis told you got to deliver, homie. You got to do it.
No, this is a
If you
BF
want,
golf. This is a BF golf joke. Joel got a
what you
joke.
better
Okay.
deliver.
No, I'm thinking that was a setup for a joke. I'm hoping, right? How do we know
I
that
know,
West
man.
Virginia
Exactly. Like, come
invented
on,
tooth?
BF Golf is leaving us hanging.
I
I'm
want to
like,
know how.
right. Oh
I
my
want to know how.
gosh. Right. So let me ask you this. I got to ask you. So I was watching the kind of switched up a bit from food and Thanksgiving.
Yeah, man.
So does the name Jimmy Yinzers make any sense to you?
Jimmy Yinzers, no.
So Jimmy Yinzer is the guy who owns Yinzers, the shop downtown Pittsburgh,
Really?
the Pittsburgh sports shop,
Okay. I didn't
and
know that.
yes, he uses his
Anywhere
name
else, it would
Yinzers.
be called a teeth brush.
Boom, boom.
That was totally worth it, man.
It was totally worth it. Um,
Now I've got it.
so his real last name I'm sure is not Yenzers, but he goes by that because of his shops he has in Pittsburgh. Um, he said, and I don't know if you had any speculation on this or your thoughts, you had any hot takes. We know that sports cards are super hot. It's been established across the United States. You can't touch it. You gotta like either ready to go to fisticuffs with people at your local Piggly Wiggly, or you gotta be the first one there when they drop. Like they drop it like it's hot. However, Jimmy Yenzers there in Pittsburgh said, he has a memorabilia shop where it's mostly shirts and hats and hoodies and all that kind of stuff, like, Steelers and Pirates, paraphernalia, right?
Okay.
He said that his business has been down tremendously this year. Like, he's having problems selling the merchandise. So let me ask you, because Pittsburgh is one of those like super hot sports towns. Like it's, their fans are diehards. Like through thick or thin, you got fans. Like in Indianapolis, it's all fair weather fans. They're all bandwagon people. But Pittsburgh, I know that's not the case. Okay. So do you think it's pandemic related? Do you think it's maybe some social justice warrior related? People kind of get turned off from that. Do you think people just don't have the money? I mean, where do you see, like, do you see like the same strength of the fandom for the Steelers as ever before? Or do you see a little bit like people are kind of losing interest because of all the posturing for the social justice stuff? Where do you see any difference? Because he was saying his take was they're pushing a narrative that's turning off his clientele. So I didn't know what you thought, what your thoughts were. If you don't see that, or you see it's, I mean, the Steelers are killing it right now. So I didn't know how that could even be possible.
Yeah, I don't pick up on think that the Steelers can do no wrong right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
In the eyes of the fan, and if anything, it's fans are they can't enjoy it. Like they're like, we're only one injury away from Ben getting hurt and Mason Rudolph coming in, and the season is going to be a wash at that point. Like we won't be able to win a Super Bowl with Mason Rudolph. So it's like it's just constantly living in like, well, we better establish a running game, which this is kind of true, but it's not the end all. Like, because it's tougher to pass in the winter, and it's as it gets colder and blah blah blah. So all the success we're having in the passing game now, it won't be like that in the middle of December. And if you don't have a running game, you don't have a pass. I don't know how much I buy into that this year. It's working. Whatever they're doing, it's working. So like,
so you're not buying into the locals and the fans of the Pittsburgh area.
You don't hear anything about. Off. No, I mean, even early on, there wasn't too much of taking a knee stuff. If it was talked about, it really wasn't a point that was continued very much by local radio. Now, and I probably can guarantee, because it doesn't get ratings on sports talk radio. Like it can be touched on here and there. But I don't hear a lot of it. I'm kind of thankful for that. I like that to be separate. You can't get around it sometimes because of it's just such the what's the present, what's going on. Usually that's at the beginning of the season,
Right.
Because I think the Steelers had another thing where it was one person did something else, like Villanueva put a different name on the back of his helmet than the whole rest of the team. Not a disrespect to whatever the cause of the team was, and they had decided, so they talked about that for a week, but Al gets a pass because he was an Army Ranger. He brought the attention to a fallen hero veteran that they're trying to get a nudge to get the National Congressional Medal of Honor, so that was his cause.
Sure.
And they talked about it for a week or two, and that was it, and move on.
That's great. So let me follow up on that. Is that so with Big Ben's what, like 38?
Yeah, he's right.
In there? Probably. He's probably
No, he's
there,
my
right around
age.
that.
He's like right at my. I think I'm like a couple months older than him, and I'm 39. So yeah, he's right there.
So is people feeling like in Pittsburgh, is this Ben's last big hoorah, do you think? Like, if he stays healthy, they can power through. They might actually make it to the playoffs, even into a Super Bowl possibly. Are they thinking this might be the year that is going to happen, and then they're going to have to like reshuffle because he might not have enough in the tank for any more seasons? Or kind of what is your vibe right now with the city and the town and the
So
team?
this plus 2 more years is sort of the vibe I think everybody has.
But
Because
does he
if
have it in the tank though for 2 more years?
Ben
Even
has,
though,
well, so a lot of people say he has 2 Super Bowls right now.
right?
If they were to win a Super Bowl this year, he would have three, and he a lot of people think he'd be hard pressed not to try to come back at least and win a fourth so that he could tie Terry Bradshaw. Ben's a good guy, but he does have a pretty big ego too. He's gained a lot of humility in the last. I think he's become a man of faith, really, to be quite honest. And I think that's good. Help him just to make better decisions about the limelight and who, people are watching all the time. Now, he still says some really dumb and arrogant things, but he's an NFL quarterback, so like that's
Right.
what they do.
With a lot of success.
Yeah,
So
so right.
it's sometimes a little bit
And they're
more.
not
It's a little bit
perfect.
more difficult to be humbled when you have success. I think
Yeah,
at that level
sure.
sometimes.
He said some dumb things when they drafted Mason Rudolph, and like after a decent game, he plays like I guess this cowboy still got a few tricks up his sleeve, this like this old cowboy. So the radio guys love him here because he's always good for a generic and cheesy soundbite,
Right. He gives them some fodder. Right.
for sure.
So I
And I
heard
don't
that they're
think
not going to be able to play tomorrow because of the
no,
Ravens.
true statement. Yeah, Sunday. Hopefully they can get it in on Sunday even because it seems to be on that verge of the quote unquote outbreak status level, of a situation. So if that's the case, then they'd have to bump it to week 18, which is after the normal regular season. So we'll see how that's going to work and play out. But I don't know. Steeler fans again feeling like they're getting screwed because it's like they almost are just postponing the game because the Ravens are so decimated at the. I mean, they both of their top running backs are out, and like other people. So that that's not going to be a very enjoyable game for the NFL. So let's
Like the
give
Lions are. Come on.
yeah let's give Baltimore a chance to actually get some players back so that we can make this game a little bit more competitive and get better
Sure.
ratings. I don't know. Again, that's the cynical look at it, but there might be
So that
some
means
truth to it.
the Steelers, like the rest of the nation, is all disappointed that they're not going to get to play. So we're all stuck watching the Lions play and all these teams that like completely blow.
Yeah.
Like the total of all four teams total wins is 13 between four teams. That's all.
Really, so I know the Lions in Dallas. I think that's still a thing where they play every year, no matter what. I don't. I mean, I don't have a short memory when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, nobody's made all the right moves. As is going to be able to like satisfy everybody's like opinions
Sure.
and perspectives on the matter. So, um, I think Tomlin's heart's in the right place most of the time with how he leads the team, and he leads by example too. So, yeah, I
And
mean,
if I and obviously I don't live in Pittsburgh. I don't really follow football all that closely. I follow a little bit here and there just because my son loves it. But
yeah,
what I've ever seen from Mike Tomlin, I have to say, like with any coach, you got a lot of prima donnas, you got a lot of personalities on teams, and you got to be able to juggle all that to a degree where you're not, upsetting the apple cart, but
Hmm.
also being able to establish that you're the boss, you're the man, you're the coach, and for those guys to go out there and play hard for you. So,
Yeah,
sometimes in a no-win situation, wouldn't you agree that you can't go too extreme on one side or the other on any issue? It doesn't have to be political or anything. It could be just the way certain players might look at even like how they play a certain team or how maybe certain thing happens in the locker room. If you
hmm
go too extreme on either side, you might lose people. I mean, so you got to really be like a good like statesman. What you agree, I think, especially in a football town like in Pittsburgh, or what's your take?
I mean, his press conferences can be like almost borderline on like parody for like coaching cliches.
Right, right,
And
yeah,
and but he's established that from day one. So it's not like that's what you get with him.
right.
Whoever the team that they're playing that week is the best team that they're ever going to play, and
Right.
um, all of that. So I think Tomlin is a good leader of men, and but not so much maybe like X's and O's all the time. I mean, track record speaks for itself. I feel like he doesn't have a very good like challenge flag record. Um, can't quite figure out red zone offense sometimes. So, it, but he gets it done. He gets the best. He gets the most out of his guys. I feel like, and some of the draft picks that people were questioning are starting to come around now, and they're like third and fourth, fifth seasons. Um, so it's looking like the decisions they've made have been good to set them up to have a nice young core of like defensive players and offensive players and finding young talented receivers. How did Chase Claypool, like he's almost got 10 touchdowns as a rookie receiver, last of the second round at 49th pick or something like that? I think I think there were 11 receivers drafted before him. He's just crushing it. So, and then Antonio Brown, like he might have lost his mind, but he was and probably will go down as one of the most talented and gifted receivers in the Steelers history. Um, this
So
it
what's
didn't.
what's your view on like uh uh was it Juju Schuster Smith?
Yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean,
Yeah,
he's the
Juju
number one. I
Smith
feel
Schuster.
like he gets the tough yards. That's kind of his role right now. I mean, he's number one guy. He's the leader of that squad. But I think Deontay Johnson and Claypool have more athletic ability and more like talented that way. I don't know if Juju's going to be a. He checks all the boxes for like a guy the Steelers love to like root for. He's kind of like a Heinz Ward. He's a bigger than life in a lot of ways. Has his YouTube channel. He's like celebrity almost. So I think Pittsburgh would be sad to see him go. But I don't know, man. I can't keep everybody sometimes on this day of free agency and all that. So.
Right. So when you look at the Steelers right now, I know we're still in the middle of the season or heading towards the end of the season, but when it's all said and done, regardless of the outcome, well, if you're the GM, what's the first thing that you're looking to address next off season? I
Mm,
sometimes I think it's hard to
man,
think when you're like 9-0. You're like, well, we're doing pretty good, but there's
well,
always a way to improve.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not sure how confident I am in Mason Rudolph at this point. So it would have been nice to add sort of a little veteran presence as a backup quarterback, or at least somebody that's, um, you know, not a third year guy that's just looks scared out there. Doesn't
Well, I mean, he did get hit in
doesn't
the face with a football helmet last year.
his own helmet.
Oh, yeah, with his own helmet, right? So I think that would
Yeah,
probably scare almost anybody.
uh-huh. I would. I mean, our defensive backfield's coming around nicely. our defense. Our defense is looking really nice. It's filling out nicely. I don't know how deep we are, but deep enough. And Devin Bush went down, and we've had a few, kind of a revolving door of guys coming in and out of that position. But it is just people stepping up when their name is called. Staying light on your feet, they say, because with all the COVID stuff, you think schedules are constantly changing. Everything's always you got to be light on your feet. That's what their motto is this year.
So because I'm not a Colts fan, I never have been. I'm a Steelers fan actually, living in Indiana.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of incognito. Like I'm working against my own best interests here. I'm like a deep state operative. So what if
Okay.
I tell you this? I will do my personal best. I know where Andrew Luck lives. I will go and ask him to be that veteran presence, come out of retirement,
Oh man.
to be there to kind of mold the youngsters coming through the ranks. And then
I mean, if
Big Ben has a debacle of sorts, that Andrew Luck is your go-to guy. Like, you think we can make that happen? Would you like me to put out those feelers here in Indiana?
yeah, actually I would. That would be how sweet would that be?
Oh
You'd
my
have to
gosh! Well, he left the
take a
door
massive pay
open.
cut.
Well, he let a lot. It wasn't really reported a lot in the mainstream media because it was such a shock. But Andrew Luck did leave the door open for about coming back uh, in the right time. So I was like, so you just never know. It's kind of like how wrestlers always tell you never say never because they say they're
Yeah.
retired. Like the
Yeah, right,
Undertaker
right.
just retired last week, but
Yeah.
then like
Didn't.
there's already like talks in the interwebs that he might show back up one more time. so
Yeah, how many
maybe
times
Andrew
did
Luck will
Andre
be
the
the
Giant
modern day
retire?
Undertaker and show up in Pittsburgh.
Dude, have you watched all them Dark Side of the Rings? Dark
Oh
Side of the
yeah,
Ring? So the
have
one
you
of
watched them?
I I watched the first one and I watched the second one, the Screw Job in Montreal, and then I was
Yeah.
kind of flipping around. I started to watch the one on New Jack, and then
Oh my gosh, that one's
but no,
crazy. That New Jack.
right. I was like, I wasn't ready for that one. So I
Yeah.
clicked off of it.
He be trying to be killing white people every time we get a chance.
I clicked off of that one. And then, the one that I watched the one with Herb Abrams. Did you see the one with her on Herb Abrams and the
Was
UWL
that
or,
the like was
or
that like the promoter dude?
UWF? Yeah, yeah. Cocaine
Yeah.
and cowboy boots.
Yeah, cocaine and cowboys or whatever. And
Yeah.
he was like my height or even shorter, but he like thought he was big stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
He like
Yeah,
was like always in
that
rooms
was
with like
wild, man.
prostitutes and cocaine.
Yeah, that guy from South Carolina is like telling a story about being in the Beverly Hills like suite, and he's like, I've seen
Yeah.
some stuff, but he's like, that was a long night.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. There you go. We'll make sure you see that. BF Golf, he likes to love the dark side. If you guys are
Yeah.
wrestling fans, what we're talking about, you can go to YouTube. You don't have to have cable.
Oh.
If you just type in Dark Side of the Ring seasons, they'll have there'll be a handful of websites that has 1 through 8 season 1, 1 through 8 season 2 for all 8 episodes. And you can just watch them for free online. If you like
Mm-hmm.
the underbelly of any kind of sports or government or religion or whatever, if you like that kind of underworld belly, this is specifically about wrestling. It's very fascinating. Wouldn't you agree, Bob?
Yeah, I would absolutely.
Yeah.
Like and again, not even today a wrestling fan, but I was back in the '80s. And that first episode, man, with Miss Elizabeth and Randy Macho Man, dude, I
Yeah.
remember, and it just was like a flashback, man. I remember that pay-per-view, WrestleMania 3. Was
Yep.
that was it, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And like I can remember not like as a kid wanting Miss Elizabeth to like get with Hulk Hogan. I was like,
Yeah.
they're supposed to be together, and that just brought back so many like little like boy emotions, and so that was kind of cool to see. And then just I didn't realize I forgot the whole car crash thing. I forgot Miss Elizabeth. Just like I forgot the whole Lex Luger thing. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, because some of that stuff was more recent. I just so if you're not in the loop, you're not hearing that in just everyday conversation, really.
Right. I mean, and I'm for I'm a pretty serious wrestling fan. I'm not like the guy who's trolling every news article and every podcast that's under the sun.
Yeah,
But like you said, I was even blown away by what's up, Dave. I was
Dave.
even blown away at some of the stuff they talked about because if they ask a lot of the guys involved who were in and out of these people's lives throughout their,
Yeah, right.
there's their stories, and you're like, like you said, you hear snippets of things as a kid, or you saw certain things that they're referencing, but unless you were really big into it back then, where it was a lot harder to
Hmm.
get the information anyways, you didn't know a lot of this backstory stuff, and you definitely didn't know about it if it happened while you're in high school, college, you moved on with your life. So you're kind of like,
Yeah.
hold on, wait, what? Lex Luthor was like boinking Miss Elizabeth and all this kind of stuff. And,
Right.
Hulk Hogan was kind of like quasi like thing with her, but he never really, sealed the deal. But Macho Man
Right.
knew something was not right. And he walked in on them while they were in the bedroom together, like a hotel room, but nothing was happening. But there's like
I
all these
thought
question marks. And you're like, hold on, wait, what? What's happening
what
right now?
what was so funny to me about that documentary, that episode was anytime anybody was like talking about Macho Man, they like did their impression of Macho
Yes.
Man. Like
No one can
you
help
saw,
themselves.
and right, it's really like because you really, and they all
Oh,
like were
yeah,
doing
you
their
got to
versions
do
of.
the impression, man.
Like,
Right. Yeah, you
I
got
mean,
to. Yeah.
even Hogan's wife was doing like her version of like, yeah, it's just so funny. I didn't realize how serious it was with some of those. Oh, who's the? Is it Ross, Jim Ross, or who's
Yeah,
no? Who's
JR,
the?
Jim Ross, yeah. Good old
Yeah,
JR.
like he's a. That's like to me a fanatical fan. Like I mean, in his little like attic, and he's got like he knows like dates of stuff. Like, how do you remember like little
Well, he's a
details? And I know
commentator.
they right, but just like to recall all that stuff, he's like a student of what he loves it, he lives
Yeah.
it. It's he's been immersed in it for how many
He's
years?
at, he's
But
actually the he's actually the commentator on AEW now.
oh, nice. Well, that'll
So
be more enjoyable for sure.
right. Not
But
to
who's
cut you
that?
off,
The
but just
Vinny
to kind of
guy?
give you
No,
something.
who's the Vince? The other Vince that he hates? Ru-
Yeah, Vince
Um,
Russo.
yeah, Vince Russo, man. I just like so I'm some of these guys are like vaguely memorable to me,
Sure.
and like other of them, I'm learning, But it's like a little bit of a guy soap opera deal, and it's just like
Oh, for sure.
it's fun.
I
It's
mean,
fun. It's an escape, It's like just it's
yeah.
absurd, but it can
Well,
be fun.
Well, the thing is like I said this before, and I'm sure I'll say it again, that wrestling is a man's soap opera,
Yeah,
and you invest in the storylines, and they just happen to be wrestling in this story, opposed to like a soap opera where there's
right, right.
love and betrayal and people dying on camera and all this stuff. But it's almost the exact same ludicrous storyline sometimes.
Yeah,
But then the crazy thing is like you're watching the Dark Side of the Ring is that the storylines are so absurd and so like sometimes just crazy, but the real life stuff off
yeah,
camera,
right.
behind closed doors is even more, just lucid and lurid, I should say, and unbelievable. And of course, like wrestling, they used to live in this thing called kayfabe, where they
I read about
pretended.
that.
Right. So, and the kayfabe was like, they never broke character. So you could never
Right.
tell where real life started and fantasy began, or vice versa. And some wrestlers would never come out of it. Like they never would. And the good example is The Undertaker. Since 1990, he would never come out of character. He's like one of the last people left in wrestling who like never broke character. He never would do interviews as Mark Calloway. That's his real name. He would
Yeah.
never talk. He would never show. You never see him in like regular, just everyday clothes, like eating lunch with his family at McDonald's. Like You know, he just never really did it. He stayed in character, and he would pretty much hide his real persona out of the public eye. He wouldn't do interviews. He wouldn't do anything. And so he just now, because he retired officially, he's now
Yeah.
becoming Mark Calloway, no longer the Undertaker. People are like blown away because he never broke kayfabe. You know, he never broke it. And
Huh.
so when you go back to what you were saying is when you're watching these documentaries, some of them I think like the idea to kind of like build the mythos and the legend even more. And so you
Yeah.
don't know where the reality still is and where the fantasy side of still comes in. But
Yeah.
there's a lot more of the reality because it's a documentary. So you start really kind of peeling back some of the layers because these guys never let in the real world because they were practicing kayfabe the entire time. So I've been finding it very interesting.
Yeah, it is. I mean, so the only other one really watched was the Bret the Hitman Hart one, the screw
Oh
job in
yeah, the
Montreal.
Montreal screw job.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's
Did you
hilarious.
know? Do you remember that as a kid? Do you remember some of those
Yeah,
things happening?
yeah, but then like you hear, like you watch the whole thing and you hear the whole thing, and then you hear Scott Hall at the end, and he's like, I think the whole thing. I think everybody's in on it. And like
Right.
he's like, watch this. Why he just points a few things out. I'm not like spoiling it for people that haven't seen it, but also, but that's isn't that the beauty of it?
Yeah.
The whole episode they're gearing your frame, your mind to think one way, and then like at the
See you,
very end
Chris.
there's a little flip of like they just can throw in another little like nugget, and it makes you think, well, maybe it isn't that way, or it's uh, it can be a fun thing to kind of just get batting around the talking about.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just like a good escape. That's the reason why, like, honestly, right now, with the way sports are, you know, a lot
Yeah,
of us watch sports to get away from real life. You know, you want to just enjoy basketball, football, baseball, soccer, whatever you're into, hockey. And you don't want
right,
to get caught up in the politics and the real world stuff. You just want to enjoy the game. And that's
exactly.
why I kind of went back to wrestling, if I'm just being 100% honest, because
Keep it
the
100.
rest, to keep it 100, right? To keep it 100, as the kids say. But you know, you go back to wrestling and like they really do practice in a world of fantasy. That's where they live. So you do see some like emblems and monikers on some shirts and like their muscle straps and stuff. They can kind of take you a little bit out of the fantasy you're trying to go through and like this story they're telling because they're trying to insert real life situations a little bit.
All
But
right.
overall, it's not like in your face. You really do get kind of transported to the stories they're telling in the match
I
during the
mean,
match, and
are
I like that.
are there still like over the top ridiculous characters like being introduced, or has all original like thought gone away and it's just like normal guys wrestling under their names now, like
I no,
their
well,
normal names.
it had a lot of it has been a lot of them has went to their real names. A lot of people have, but there are still a lot of people who do like gimmick
Okay.
characters.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's still a mix now. It used to be almost exclusively everybody had a gimmick. Everybody had they didn't use
Right.
their real names and they had some sort of gimmick. Some of them were more outlandish than others,
Sure.
but but they were some sort of gimmick, right?
All right.
Now a lot of them, I would say it's probably more like 60-40. 60% people just come to wrestle and they have a storylines, but it's not like the Undertaker, like this man rose from the dead. This kind of
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Right.
All this kind of stuff. So they kind of moved away from those kind of storylines and you have like reality based storylines for the most part, and everybody's using their real names or like they're using names that are um, close to their
Stage
own
names, I
names a
guess.
lot of
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And I think you see a lot more of that. But I mean, if you go to AEW, you have people like Dr. Luther, who's like, some like he said he has a third eye. He's painted on his face, and he's going around sticking his tongue out, going like kind of like George the Animal Steel. If you remember him,
Sure.
there's a chick who's like a zombie. Her name's like Abaddon, and she comes in crawling on the ground like the girl from The Ring. Hair's in her face. She has like a blue eye and a black eye, like a soulless black eye. She has like paint going down her face. She spits blood. And then, but then she fights a girl named Red Velvet who just wears red outfit, and she's just a regular wrestler. Right. So yeah, she brings out a cake, but she's always talking about how she's gonna mix it up. All this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit of everything, but then like you have Matt Hardy. Do you remember the Hardy Boys?
Yeah.
So Matt Hardy's on there, and when he first started out, he was doing one of his characters. He has like 4 or 5 iterations of Matt Hardy now that he's done over the years. So there's one called Broken Matt Hardy, where he was like pretending to be some sort of like demon from an other world. He was like has this like weird, like he's speaking in some kind of like Elizabethan like voice, and he's speaking from the like King James Bible.
Okay.
And you're like, okay. And then like recently he's like kind of broke that, and just like now he just kind of acts like a tool. Like he's talking about how great he is, like how him and his brother invented everything, and everybody in AEW wishes they could be like him and his brother. And like, you know that thing that you saw them do last week? Yeah, we invented that. Or and like now he's doing this.
You just one up
everything's the one up, Right. And he sets people up. So he's like, hey Bob, you know that ladder you saw last week in that match? And you're like, yeah, me and my brother did that back in 1996. We were the very first ladder match ever done. And they're just like, okay. So you should be really thanking me right now. So, so you have that kind of stuff. So anyways, I do think they're moving more towards reality-based storylines more than like fictional, ridiculous type stuff.
Okay.
So
let's take a look. I don't mean to keep yawning. My bad, man.
No, it's okay. That's all right. I'm gonna cry on the inside. I'm fine. So to answer Yanks fan 7, deep thoughts. I honestly have been such a positive mood recently. I don't know if I have any deep thoughts recently, but you better believe if I do, you'll be the first to know, and amongst everybody else in the interwebs, because I'll post a video. So let's see. My wife went to high school with Kurt Angle. She said he was a real nice guy, even helped her with changing the flat tire once. Now, Kurt Angle, he's from Pittsburgh, right?
He is.
That's cool. So Don Kalutsky, that's who just said that. That's who he is. Don Kulowski, maybe it is.
That sounds like a Pittsburgh name.
Yeah, that's a Polish name, I bet. It sounds Polish. I could be wrong, but that sounds like it.
You know what the most Pittsburgh form of bean is?
What?
The garbanzo bean.
Garbanzo. Now is that found in Squirrel Hill?
Yeah, up there in Squirrel Hill, you can get tons of garbanzo beans.
It's funny because I don't really hear a Pittsburgh accent out of Kurt Angle.
No,
so I'm wondering if he's is he a transplant or did he live there his whole life?
No, Mount Lebanon is it's kind of ritzy. It's kind of cake eater territory. So.
So he's not down in the gulags like everybody else.
Definitely not. No.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you, BF Golf. It's more like actors now more than wrestlers. They're like actors with good bodies mostly. Like everybody has to have a good body in wrestling now. If you come out there looking like me in a wrestling match, like no one really believes you can do anything. Like, the days of Dusty Rhodes coming out looking like a globe, like a big old basketball, rolling around, like those days are about over nowadays. Everybody has to come out with like they just walked off the pages of some like Greek novel. So, Jesse's here. Think Move 77.
Oh, I gotta go now.
Up? Oh, you're gonna go now. All right, it was good talking to you, Bob. Thanks for popping over, bud.
Yeah. I gotta. Well, I gotta go mostly because Jesse just showed up, but Jesse's always dogging us.
He sure is, dude. BF Golf goes, he'd wear that one strap unitard, the one that goes around like King Kong Bundy used to wear or whatever, Andre the Giant. So yeah, for sure.
Or like that snapshot you sent me the other night.
Yes. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Everybody thinks Mark has been like I've replaced Mark. You're the new Mark.
I am. I do it better than Mark, both in real life and on the interwebs.
It's not. I mean, I can't really say much to that.
I know. Well, the thing is, I think he's upset about it because he popped in. We made a brief reference of him, and then he goes, "I gotta go."
Oh, Bill Mazeroski.
Oh, Bill
Action.
Mazeroski. Yeah, when I was at Tracy's today, he had a whole bunch of like 50s Mazeroskis. Did you need any, or you got them all now?
I'm sure I do. There's a Key Brian Hayes auto.
Key Brian Hayes. Do you have any of that one guy who got arrested for trying to steal his kid?
Sure do. I didn't like go all in though, like right after the World Series and say, he's gonna be the next thing. I mean, the guy, he had historic World Series, right? I hope it's like there's two sides to every story thing, and maybe the mother-in-law is crazy and like he was actually trying to like do a good thing. I don't know. I hope that's
yeah.
all okay.
Well, I can speak. I know what that situation feels like. I had a similar situation. I don't know anything about his, but yeah. You definitely have to be careful. So it's Kolakowski. Now I pronounced it right. Kolakowski. Thank you, Don, for giving me the pronunciation. Kolakowski. So, what's up? Just Kevin's car just celebrated 300 subs.
Who did?
Good job, Kevin.
Kevin.
One day you'll be a big deal like Bob Lewis. You'll be a Hall of Famer too. But until then, you're just gonna have to deal with the crumbs like all of us. So you never truly gave a Hall of Fame induction speech.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
No, you kind of just like lightly went over it, saying like, "Thanks for voting me in and kiss the ring when next time you see me," kind of thing.
You're saying I should have done better.
I'm saying that we should do, maybe you need to do a video where you just kind of like really put me over as a person who got you to where you are today. If it wasn't for me,
believe me, I'm gonna do my zombie campaign video. Come campaigning season, next year once it starts getting close.
I know. I'm not gonna pull the Gary where Gary's like, "Don't vote for me because I don't want to get in." I'm gonna pull the Phil where I promise everybody I will vote for you. You vote for me. And then you run out of people to vote for.
You'll pay their mortgages. You promise to pay their mortgages for the next year.
Even if that means I gotta go work at White Castle flipping sliders, I'm gonna do it. So, we got Henry S here today. Okay.
Henry, this is Oregon.
So Henry, how Henry starts the live stream is, who was that player or coach who exposed himself at the ballpark?
Coming in hot.
He ain't playing, dude. That is an extreme hot take right out of the gate. Like that.
Who was that? So I can not collect him.
You're right. Yeah, I don't want to collect that guy. Oh my gosh. So now that the baseball season for sports cards are winding down, and you haven't been able to get a whole lot, but you got more than the average bear because of your dad being a little bit involved in it. You got to maybe pick up a box strand here and there. What has been, in your opinion, the product to get in 2020? Either football, baseball, or basketball. For you personally, not the popular opinion of everybody wanting to go chase down the hot new prospect, but you've enjoyed the most opening, breaking. What has been your product this year?
Probably Flagship Series 1 and Bowman.
Not Bowman, but Bowman.
Yeah, where did that come from?
That's John Mangini. He needs to stop drinking before he does videos about Bowman cards. He's the only person who says that.
No, there's there was somebody else that. Oh,
Does Dave do that too?
uh,
Does Blue Jacket 66 say something like that?
I thought I know there's a guy out there that's like. How do you say? Do you say Don Russ?
Yeah, I say
Or
Don
do you say,
Russ.
so I know there's people that say like Dunruss, like
Don Russ?
Dunruss.
But it's spelled with an O. Don Russ. Right.
Right. That's kind of was my thought, but
Like bow
Dunruss
and
is
arrow is not bow and arrow. It's bow and arrow. Bowman. I'm not saying
no,
bowman. Like, go give me that bow and arrows over there, please. I'm gonna go
like
shoot this bow.
that's Bauman, right? That's like Bauman. That's how I would do Bauman.
Right. Right.
Here you go. That's a nice little
Oh, here we
greasy,
go. Bob Greasy.
greasy Bob.
Greasy.
Are these
Let's see
still?
here. Who is that? Oh, nice. Fanny.
G,
Oh, nice. You
little-
even threw me one of those my way. You say, here you go.
I
You
did,
take the
didn't
one
I?
that's bent in half.
I'm good, man. I'm glad I still give stuff away because I feel like I've been slacking doing that. I gotta up my outgoing care package game.
So my care pack. I got to be honest with you here. Here's another hot take from Jason about Bob. You're gonna find out about this live in front of everybody when I did this. So I had 2 care packages I had to do today. One to go to Alex Bumman 53, and
Yeah.
one to go to Joey. Don't call my wax junk. Among some eBay stuff that people bought from my eBay auction. But I had a care package for Bob, none other than Bob Lewis. But then when I got to the total that I owed, I took yours out of the equation and said, nope, Bob's not getting that. I want to send that next week.
All right.
So
I got a delay. That's all right. I don't mind.
Yeah, you got the delay. It's been sitting in my car for like 3 weeks, anyways, or probably longer.
I hope there's nothing edible in there.
Well, hopefully you'll get it before Ruby graduates middle school.
I have a package in there. I just realized for Eric Oakland A's 915. It's been sitting in his like care package spot on that thing in my room for probably since the beginning of the year. It's sad.
Well, I gotta say, I don't know if people really know this. So here's a peek behind the curtain of Bob Lewis. So when you go to Bob Lewis's man cave ball card room, when you first walk in, unless he's changed the setup, on the right hand side, he has like what looks like if you worked at a factory, like where you put a bunch of mail, little mail slots, and each one of those are marked with people's names. And then there's stacks of cards in each one as he builds towards a care package. And when I went, it was like literally had like 50 names that felt like in there. So I know you're working towards it, but it'll be sometime in 2028 before it comes out.
This is still one of my favorites.
That's awesome. You started that tradition, dude. You're the first one who sent him an autograph request, and then that floodgates open.
I think he said, I don't know. I think he said he had one before, but it was like, maybe it was something that he didn't actually do it. I made it too easy for him not to, like, because given the prepaid envelope to send it back, literally all you got to do is sign it. I gave you the marker. Just sign it, put it back.
You did everything. I mean, because Caesar, he's a big deal. I mean, he's a big deal, and you want to make it easy on the celebs like that. Is that a 9?
It is a 9.
Who did you have to sleep with to get that?
Joe Orlando.
You dirty dog, you. You dirty dog.
You dirty dog.
Oh, what? You dirty rat.
There's so many. Man. Oh, wait. Who is this? This was, see if you guys remember this dude. 6'4", 275 from Covington, Kentucky. Home is Fort Thomas, Kentucky. Jared Lorenzen, quarterback. You see 6'4", 275, quarterback.
I don't even know who that
Yeah.
is. You said he's from Kentucky, though?
Yeah. He went to Kentucky and he was drafted by the oh wait, not drafted, but he was picked up by the Giants. He's a big boy.
Big
Big
boy.
boy. Yeah.
Big boy. So, are you going to keep that for your collection? Is that going to be your next giveaway video?
Maybe I'll give that to Victor, Jared Lorenzen. He's a giant collector.
Yeah, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's a Thanksgiving movie.
Oh yeah. Hey, later, BF Goff. That is man, that's a must.
Yeah, unless you watch Eli Roth's trailer for Thanksgiving Day. Have you seen that?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh.
Bad?
You can go on YouTube. It's like a 3-minute trailer. It's a fake trailer he made for the movie Grindhouse. And it's called Thanksgiving. And man, it's like made in like 1985. Like the way it feels is like 1985. It is seriously some of the most disturbing images of Thanksgiving you'll ever see. Do not watch it with children around. It was like, I'm scarred, and I was like 35 when I saw it or whatever. So
nice.
But it is. I don't even want to say anything. I'm like telling you, I don't want to even say a word. I'm telling you, when we get done here, pop it on, put Thanksgiving trailer Eli Roth. You will send me a message later and go.
I've seen the Grindhouse. I mean, so I'm sure I saw that back then, but it didn't, or maybe I've just like blocked it out of my memory. You know,
probably for the best. So let me ask you this question, Bob. So you said that you and Chris and the family will start putting together the Christmas tree starting this weekend. So I'm assuming then the floodgates of Christmassy type things begin to open up.
Correct.
So for you, what is your favorite Christmas movie? Like one that you love, maybe one that you loved as a child and still love now, maybe nostalgia, and maybe one you stumbled upon as an adult. Even though it might have been from our time frame, but you didn't really know about it till recently as an adult. So give me those two.
So my all-time favorite is Christmas Vacation. Yeah, I mean it's just it's the most quotable. It's one that I could, I enjoy. I watch it. What I do, Chris and I will watch it together most of the years, but like I watch it, and then as soon as I'm done watching it, I'll turn it back on with the commentary, and I'll rewatch it with like it's everybody essentially except Chevy Chase.
Because he refused to do it.
Right. And they know that, and I think I just enjoy hearing them kind of dance around, and like not always, like they know. I think the audience knows that Chevy's like a bit of a prima donna, and like
he's hard to deal with, right?
They don't trash him, but they also kind of, it's like tongue in cheek. They like know everybody knows what they're talking about. And
I mean that still was broken a few years ago after the people from Community finally threw him under the bus, like in the media, like what everybody else had known about for years, but no one said it because more like that old school. Quiet behind what happens off camera stays off camera,
Yeah.
But that younger generation's like, nah, we're not gonna give Chevy Chase a pass. We're gonna throw this dude under the bus.
Yeah. So hey, good for them, because really, I don't know, man. Give me a break. You're like a loaded millionaire dude, and I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know. You're Chevy Chase. You're supposed to be like more like Bill Murray.
Right. So Yanks fan said his favorite Christmas movie is Silent Night, Deadly Night.
It's Garbage Day.
It's Garbage Day, right? Oh, Black Christmas. Oh my gosh. Are you the one who sent me that video clip of the little boy, like that old man, his grandpa tells him about Santa Claus?
You been good? Oh yeah, boy.
You better go, oh yeah, boy. He's gonna kill you. He comes to
He's
kill you.
gonna
Whatever.
punish you. He's gonna
Right.
punish you.
So okay, so National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, favorite
Yeah.
movie
So
from
then,
childhood to now. What about one that's been more recent find for you, either because it's a
well,
newer movie
yeah,
or
Elf.
whatever?
Elf is one that we all always watch. The family, the girls love it. The kid, you know what I mean. We enjoy that one. It's as close to you can get as like being able to show a child of all ages, without
Yeah.
worry of like, any kind of, I don't know, not to
Right,
be
like in
like
the Christmas
over.
Vacation where the bathing suit flies off and hits the window.
Yeah, right. And
You're
there's
like,
there's
I showed that to Luca last year, and Luca goes, "What is that?" I was like,
what just happened here, Dad?
what is that? What was that, Dad? Why did he go?
As
Like, what
long
was
as he's
that?
asking.
Right.
Uh,
So, what's your favorite scene in the Christmas Vacation? Like your number one scene that you always
oh
crack
man.
up about, no matter what? Because there's so many.
Yeah, I think the whole
Happy Thanksgiving, Don. Thanks for hanging out with us.
the whole dinner sequence of like Aunt Bethany and
Yeah.
and he's
Grace,
she's my favorite. So Aunt Beth, I
the
just
blessing. Right.
yes, her did I break wind? Yeah. Did the room clear out, Bethany? No. Um, geez, cousin Eddie. I mean, the when they're walking down like in the supermarket and they're loading the cart and like the little subtle things of like him throwing down a bag of dog food or something, and then Chevy Chase putting a box of light bulbs, and then like cousin Eddie throwing another bag of dog food right on top of it. uh, or like if I woke up with my elbow sewed to my asshole or something, I couldn't be more surprised than I am right
If I
now.
woke up with
So
my head stapled to the carpet,
yeah,
I couldn't be more
yeah,
excited.
yeah. That's one of my favorites.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then
I,
when he loses it at the end, hallelujah, where's the Tylenol? That's
right,
that's just some
right.
good TV.
My
Fixed it.
favorite scene, there's a ton of those, right? But probably the one I crack up the most is when he goes out and Judo chops that reindeer antlers, and then he gets Santa Claus across the
Yeah.
lawn. And he's just like,
Doesn't he
chop,
get
chop,
stuck
chop,
on
chop,
his?
chop all the way down. And then
He gets,
when he finally plugs it in, later
yeah.
on, he shows Santa Claus like on the ground, like
Oh, he's all dented. Right.
all
He's all dented.
right. Oh my gosh. So let me ask you this, because Natsman and Jamar said the same thing, and I agree both totally. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Agree or disagree?
Oh yeah. I mean,
I have a meme I found.
I'm pretty loose with my criteria. If it's because Gremlins, I mean that certainly falls in the same category.
Gremlins too.
Yeah. Why not, right? Why not? Now, I wouldn't put that in the same list as like It's a Wonderful Life.
You mean Nakatomi Tower and A Wonderful Life don't get the same Bob Lewis double feature?
I mean, they're in the same realm, right? But I don't know. There's ones that you enjoy sitting around watching with the fam, and I think ones that I think I just enjoy more myself, sorting cards or something.
Sure. What about Home Alone? Did you watch that when you were a kid?
Yeah, Ava started watching that one a couple years ago, I think.
I feel like it came out right at the right time for us, like our generation.
Man, that was out in the theater during the holiday season, and we were visiting family in Connecticut, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom's dad was like a real very like staunch conservative guy, like Christian conservative man,
Sure.
didn't drink, didn't swear, all that stuff. Tucked his shirt in all the time, shoes
Basically me.
polished. But in that movie, like it was just such a big deal. Like we had to go see this movie. Everybody was making such a big deal of it, and like we got there late. It had already started. We found crammed in, got seats in the back. I just wanted to like sit down and like start watching it. Right, I was so excited as a kid to see it, and then and it's that scene in the beginning with like his older brother, and I think he says like ass or something, or calls him like a butt munch, and
Right.
like and my grandfather, he says like audibly loud, like, well, that's just really nice language, in the theater. And but so he was all grumpy because of the whole situation getting there late. But by the end of the movie, he's like doubled over in laughter. You know what I mean? Just because it was perfect for the time that it came out. Right. Oh yeah, there you go,
Right.
Bill
I
Murray.
agree.
That's
Yeah.
a huge call from left field right there for sure.
I love
Scrooge was big.
Scrooge. I mean, it was. I mean, I really like that movie, and it's a sleeper. I agree. Well, I mean, he said sleeper for
Yeah.
Just Friends, but Scrooge is one of those sleepers. I think because it's on that borderline of kind of scary horror-ish because
Yeah.
of the subject matter, and it's a dark comedy.
Hey, interact with the crowd for a moment. I got to run downstairs just a sec.
Okay.
All
So I
right.
agree that it's one of those ones that's a little bit sleeper comedy there, but I agree with you for sure, BD Kane. And then this cracks me up, dude. When Rusty goes, Dad, you tell me everything I know about outside illumination. Oh my gosh. It gets me every time. And like, I don't know how many of you guys might be dads or watched it with your dad and then you watch it now with your sons or daughters. But man, that movie means so much more to me now as a father than it did when I love it just as much, if not more now. But it meant so much to me as a kid. I love that movie, and now with my son and just the comedy in it, we are able to share that. It's a totally different perspective, man. It's a really cool movie to share with your kids, and just because it's so hilarious and so just out of left field in a lot of ways, with the humor and just like straddles that line of being decent, but a little bit blue, a little bit inappropriate. I definitely dig it, man, for sure. I definitely dig it. Hey, Josh is here. Happy Thanksgiving, Josh, for sure. Oh, the old Michigander. Tell Gretchen Whitmer I said Merry Christmas. We got Charlie Brown. Yeah, Charlie Brown Christmas. Man, you got to have that one, dude. That goes without saying. Charlie Brown Christmas, standard. You might get it, dude. Maybe that's something I'll do. A top 10 movies from Zombie Collector Christmas edition. I think that's could be on the horizon. There's actually, shockingly for me, quite a few Christmas movies I don't own, but I love. I need to, probably not tomorrow, but maybe Friday or Saturday, I need to hit up a couple flea markets and a couple of the antique stores and try to grab me up a smattering of Christmas movies that I do not have in my collection, for sure. Yeah, Mystery Science Theater 3000, such a great TV show. They have a lot of like holiday themed episodes, which I truly love. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's a Thanksgiving Day, Thanksgiving based movie, for sure. Do you all remember the Ed O'Neill movie from the early 90s called Dutch? I want to say that's Thanksgiving based too, maybe not, but I want to say it is. But I like that movie a lot, Dutch, if you remember that one. He's like, we try to get the kid to like, pretend to be homeless, and he's all like, ooh. He's like, no, stick out your lip a little farther. Look more pathetic. I remember watching that as a kid and thought the movie Dutch was hilarious. Trading Places, yeah, Trading Places. It does, I guess, happen around Christmas. You're right, if I remember correctly. But I remember that movie for a lot of reasons that is not appropriate about Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, a lot of Christmas movies in Dollar Tree. Yes, Dutch was off the hook. Yes, that was such a great movie. I love Dutch. Such a great movie. Um, so yeah, what's up, Donnie? Donnie getting some love. Trading Places is definitely a good movie. I'm trying to think of a Christmas movie that would not be like one that you would typically think of. Kind of like we talked about Die Hard or Gremlins, for sure. I'm trying to think of one that maybe would even. Oh, another movie that it's actually it's a Thanksgiving Day movie that I liked a whole lot. It's there's some things I do not like about that movie. It becomes a PSA in one scene of the movie, which is absolutely ridiculous. It takes you out of the movie, but except for that one scene, the rest of it's pretty good. It's called The Family Stone. It has like Michelle McAdams or Rachel McAdams and Craig T. Nelson's in there. There's a bunch of other people that's famous in that movie. And it's a Thanksgiving-based movie as well, I believe. And I like that movie. There's a scene where they're all at the dining room table trying to like push a social justice warrior agenda on people, and I'm like, well, I just want to enjoy the movie, so it kind of takes you out of it a little bit. But overall, it's a good movie. I'll give it that. I'll give it that. Goonies, of course, dude. Man, Goonies is such a great movie, Jamar. You got that right, dude. I mean, oh my gosh, Four Christmases. We'll just go back to what Jamar said. I love Goonies so much. I'm like praying they do a Goonies Part 2. Like they keep talking about it, they keep teasing. Like I think everybody is still alive that's in that movie. They're all still there. Even Richard Donner. He might not be able to direct anymore. He's like in his 80s. But all the kids are still there. Everybody except Sloth is dead or is alive. And then of course Mrs. Fratelli, the mom, the grandma or the crazy gangster lady mom, she passed away. But everybody else is still alive. I mean, they got to do it, man. That would be a absolute gem of a movie. I would love the Goonies, man. You're exactly right, Jamar, for sure, sir. Four Christmases, good one. I also just watched for the first time the one. What's the movie with? It's a Christmas movie. I never seen it before with Ben Stiller in it and Christina Applegate and James Gandolfini. Is it called like Stealing Christmas? Maybe. Excuse me. I want to say it's called Stealing Christmas. Maybe that's not it. But it has Ben Affleck, and it was the first time I'd seen it. It's currently for free on Amazon Prime. I watched that last weekend, and I didn't know anything about it. And overall, it's actually a pretty good movie. Overall, it's a pretty good movie. For sure. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's ever else seen that movie. It's a little bit cheesy in parts, a little bit hokey. Yeah, Robert Davi is still alive. Yeah, I'm actually Facebook friends with him. So yeah, he's still alive. He does a lot of like jazz and he does lots of jazz, I guess. Like that's what his big thing is. He plays lots of music. He's probably in his late 60s, I would bet, maybe even early 70s. Joey Pants is still alive. I just saw him in a movie a couple days ago from about a year ago. So he's still alive, for sure. The Green Book. Is that the one with the Green Book? Is that the one with Viggo Mortensen is in it? You just see a cat go across Bob's camera. That was funny. Viggo Mortensen and I forgot the other guy's name. Masala something or something Masala. I can't remember. Is that the one you're talking about? So I hear a cat and I heard the cat like probably sound like it's chewing on something or biting something. But I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that movie. I've heard from many different people that they enjoy the movie. I've yet to see it for sure. So, but yeah. Oh my gosh, man. So let me ask you all this while we're waiting for old Bobby Bob to get back here. So, does anybody have to travel tomorrow for Thanksgiving, or is Thanksgiving at your residence. So people coming to see you. So are you going somewhere, or are they people coming to your house for Thanksgiving this year? Let's see what the answers are. Let's take a look. Kitty, 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 kitty. Kitty, 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 kitty. Kitty, 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 kitty. That cat is great in cards. You're exactly right, Henry. That Bobcat. Staying put. BD Kane come out of the gate first one. Staying put. Uh-oh. Get old Gretch. Don't you dare upset Gretch. Yeah, she's gonna come and get you to send her husband when he's not out on his boat tooling around town. Yeah, I agree with you, Donnie. I hope he doesn't lose it for sure. You gotta get that pizza. A lot of those pizza places are open. What kind of pizza you having, Henry, with your mom? Are you ordering pizza? Are you ordering it tonight to have it tomorrow? Are you making it homemade pizza? What you doing? Well, Jamar, where do you live, sir? I don't know where you live. So you're gonna have family come over? That's awesome. Yeah, in years past, I usually travel down to where I'm from originally, and then I go down there with my son. But this year, we're gonna stay put, and we're gonna be with his mom. We usually do that every year, but I usually also travel. This year, we're gonna stay and put Indiana. There's been such an increase in COVID, people are losing their minds. So yeah, well, I heard in California, it can get kind of a little bit on the dangerous side if you try to do too much without worrying about getting your neighbors to call the police on you or try to rat you out. So probably best to stay at home, I bet, for sure. Wow, that I'm sorry to hear that, Nats man. Hopefully it's as good as one can have. It's tough when you don't have the family to be able to get together, man. It's probably a tough first year, man. I hope it goes as best as it can. I definitely understand. I mean, when I used to live in Japan, it was always tough to have the holidays, even though I had my wife and I had Luca and all that, but they just don't celebrate the way we do holidays, American holidays. And it just felt very difficult because I have no family around, no friends, nobody to celebrate. Almost every holiday in Japan is just another day. There's nothing special about it because they don't celebrate Thanksgiving. They don't celebrate Christmas. They don't celebrate those kind of holidays. It's just to them another day. Christmas in Japan is like a day for boyfriends or girlfriends to hook up, go to love hotels and have sexy time. They don't have any interest in it. It's not the same thing. So it's definitely difficult. 12 topping Figueros. Nice. Yeah, you got to believe it. Zombie and Bobcat's podcast. There you go. Thanks for popping in, Big Scott Gary. Well, for sure. I think this is a new thing for me. I'm gonna just go live with Bobcat. Me and Bobcat. He's gonna be a great co-host. A great co-host for sure. Mark did get demoted. We haven't made it official till recently, but we're gonna go ahead and tell everybody tonight that he did get demoted. So for people who want to see Mark, sorry, I do apologize. I am now the new Mark. I'm Mark 2.0. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, in Japan they're called love hotels, and it's boyfriends or girlfriends go and hook up on Christmas. So that's the thing in Japan. They have Christmas cake and KFC. That's Christmas in Japan. So they don't have any religious aspect to Christmas in Japan. It's like almost 100% commercialism version of Christmas. Families don't do anything special. It's just big time commercialism in Japan. The only thing they have a Christmas cake, fried chicken, and premarital sex. That's essentially Christmas in Japan. So they don't quite do the same thing we do in America, at least not as a whole. I'm sure all that's happened in America too, in a lot of respects, but not necessarily the national holiday is for that purpose. So, we got another Hall of Famer in here today. Dave Blue Jacket 66, an iconic channel here on YouTube. For this is probably gonna be super boring, Dave. I mean, you missed all the hot takes that we've been doing early on, but I'll try not to put you to sleep. But I can't promise you anything. I really got KFC for supper tonight. You're halfway there, dude. You're halfway there. You're already there, dude. All you got to do is just sweet talk your wife, and you're ready to go, dude. You're ready to go. You're going to be there. Just got to go get it. Just make a cake, a red velvet cake or whatever real quick, and boom. Yeah, I think so. When he goes, I have to go somewhere, he meant that he's going to go drop the kids off at the pool. So I'm assuming that's what he really means. Yeah. So I didn't understand that when I was living in Japan. I didn't understand why people kept talking about Christmas cake, and they kept asking me if I'm going to get a Christmas cake, and I'm like, "What's that?" They're like, "Well, it's for Christmas," and I'm like, "What?" They're like, "Well, you do that in America. You have Christmas cake," and I'm like, "No, we don't. I've never heard of a Christmas cake." And they're like, "Oh, that's not a thing?" I'm like, "No." And then they're like, "Oh, well, you do fried chicken?" No, we do turkey. Some people do ham. Some people might do like seafood. I've heard on the East Coast they might do lobster or clam chowder, things like that. They're like, "So you don't do fried chicken?" No. And they're like, "Well, does boyfriends and girlfriends hang out together?" And I'm like, "Not really. Usually it's a pretty big family holiday. They might hang out with family, but they're not hanging out by themselves." And they're like, "Oh, so you don't go to hotels together?" I'm like, "No. That is not a thing in America, at least not at a big scale. Maybe like on a smaller scale. But I mean, they're like packed in Japan. You go by hotels, love hotels in Japan. It's like their parking lot's full of cars. So for sure. Oh, Japanese Pokemon. Man, dude, you definitely diversified your collection. Dave, you're like getting all kinds of stuff. I mean, every time I go to your channel, you're always showing off something new that you're picking up, modern day cards, all kinds of Project 2020 stuff. Now you're getting into Pokemon. I know you mentioned that your son collects Pokemon or has in the past, and you have all kinds of cards just waiting to go through. I mean, you are like one of the channels that's always surprising me with the stuff that you talk about, show, discuss, directions you head in. It's always a cornucopia, if you will, of things to go see on your channel, without a doubt. Chopped pig barbecue is big at Christmas Eve in North Carolina. Chopped pig barbecue. Now, I was in North Carolina for the first time ever in October for a week. My best friend from junior high and high school lives in North Carolina now. He lives outside of Wilmington. He lives in a town called, oh shoot, where did he live? Man, I forgot. But it's on the East Coast. It's on the ocean side. Shoot, but he lives outside of Wilmington, and I saw that barbecue was indeed very popular in North Carolina, for sure. Down east, yeah, he lives so close to all these waterways. There's alligators in their big ponds by their house, like these like retention ponds, like man-made like lakes. There's like palm trees growing up everywhere. There's like pelicans and seagulls. I mean, I thought I was in Florida, but I was in North Carolina. I never even knew of those coastal cities. I never even put it in my mind that parts of North Carolina feel like almost like Florida or like the beach. It was like shocking. I had no idea. I just couldn't put my mind around it. Everybody stop talking. Bob's here. He's back. Hey, what's up, Bob?
Hey, what was the over-under on whether or not I would come back?
We're talking about how long did you fall into the toilet dropping your kids off at the pool or not?
I just
But
get
don't
out
worry,
of
your cat hung out with us the whole time.
Nice. I got to relocate. I'm too loud.
Yeah, that area of Wilmington was awesome. I'm definitely going to be going back next year. Natchman wanted to know, did you wash your hands?
If not, if anybody was around me, I gave the appearance that I did. That's for sure.
Man, that's hilarious. Oh, man.
All right, hold on.
So you
Let me see
feeling
how-
better now?
Who?
You.
I had to go deal with the kids a second. Take the dog out. Chris is going to bed.
Oh, okay.
Chris is going to bed, and I got to relocate because I'm too loud.
Man.
I can't guarantee that this camera won't fall down.
Well, if it does, we'll all go on a journey with you.
Or me, I might fall too.
Well, that's not good. We don't want you falling.
I'm about to enter the danger zone.
Oh, there you go. I remember Highway to the Danger Zone. Who remembers that? What movie is that from?
Top Gun, baby.
Top Gun, baby. Iceman.
Just heard that tonight, actually.
Maverick. What was Anthony Edwards' name? Did he have a nickname in that movie? I don't remember.
Goose, wasn't it?
Goose. The goose is loose.
Ruby, what are you doing? Why you got your jacket on?
Ruby!
Oh. Let's see what we got here. You guys ready for the hole in the ceiling?
Oh yeah. Now, did you have to pay extra for that feature?
It's reminds me of West Virginia. I don't know how or why. It just does.
Virginia.
Oh, hold on. I gotta turn some lights on.
So, to answer your question, Dave, to my knowledge, most big movies are now being released on streaming formats. Like the Marvel movie is going to be released on Disney Plus or whatever it's called. They have a premium edition on Disney. I know the Wonder Woman movie is being released on HBO Max. So I know a lot of them are being released on streaming services. And they are releasing them in theaters, but if you live in a state where it's locked down, for a lack of better terminology, because I don't want to go down that path.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, right? You probably won't be seen in a theater. Excuse me. So, but I've heard most of them are being shown on live streaming like they did. You pay extra money to watch the movie being live streamed from whatever. Paying for the service like a Netflix, like a whatever.
We rented when the Trolls 2 movie was supposed to be out over the spring or whatever. We rented it in our house. It was $19.99 for one night. So essentially, if we had a household of 4, like you're paying $5 a piece to watch the movie. So if they do it like that, I mean, I would rent a new like a Wonder, like I want to see that Wonder Woman movie. I would buy it for $20 for like a Friday night or Saturday night. Wouldn't you do that? Jay's reading a bunch of comments.
Sorry.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can.
I don't know what's going on. You can hear me, but now I can't hear you.
Oh, hold on, man. I'll just leave and come back.
No, I think it's on my end.